Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever laughed at something only to realize later it wasn't funny at all? Maybe it was a casual joke, an overlooked moment, or even a choice you made. But let me tell you this, that moment, the one you laughed off, might be the very thing that's shaping your life, your relationships, and your ether. We live in a world where distractions are a currency and entertainment is a drug. But here's the hard truth. While you're laughing, life is moving. While you're entertained, opportunities slip through your fingers. And let me ask you, what's the cost of staying entertained at the expense of being extraordinary? By the end of this conversation, you won't just see why some things are nothing funny, you'll understand how to turn those moments into the fuel that drives your transformation. Because what you do with the things you laugh off today will decide if you're laughing with joy tomorrow or crying with regret. This is your moment to stop laughing off your greatness. Let's uncover the serious business of building the life you've always been destined for. Shall we begin? Have you ever noticed how something that felt lighthearted in the moment can carry an unexpected weight when you look back? Perhaps it was a joke you made, a decision you brushed off, or a responsibility you chose to ignore. At the time, it might have seemed harmless, even amusing. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, you realize the real effect of that moment. This is the power of perspective, a force so profound that it can turn laughter into regret or hesitation into clarity. Perspective is what transforms a simple choice into a defining moment. It's what allows us to step back and see the bigger picture, to understand not just what we're doing, but why we're doing it. Yet, in the chaos of daily life, we often lose sight of this. We're caught up in the humor of the now, the distractions of the present, and the comforts of denial. We don't stop to ask ourselves the tough questions. What does this mean for me tomorrow? What am I planting in my future with this choice today? Here's the truth, the things we laugh off often matter the most. Why? Because those moments reflect our mindset. They reveal what we're willing to let slide, what we're choosing to avoid, and what we're unwilling to confront. And in those moments, we trade long-term growth for short-term amusement. The real challenge is to develop the courage to look beyond the immediate, to ask ourselves, how will I feel about this in a year, a decade? The power of perspective lies in its ability to shift your understanding of a moment before it's too late. Imagine standing on a mountain. At the base, you see only what's immediately around you, the rocks, the trees, the path directly ahead. It's only when you climb higher that the entire landscape unfolds, revealing patterns and paths that were invisible before. Life works the same way. Perspective gives you that higher vantage point, the clarity to see how today's decisions, no matter how trivial they seem, connect to tomorrow's outcomes. But here's the thing about perspective, it's not automatic. It requires effort, intention, and sometimes brutal honesty with yourself. It's easy to laugh something off. It's much harder to pause, reflect, and ask, what does this really mean? It's easy to choose distraction over discomfort. But when you commit to seeing the bigger picture, you take control of your life in a way that others won't. So how do we harness the power of perspective? Start by making it a habit to zoom out. When faced with a decision or a moment that feels insignificant, stop and ask yourself, if I saw this from a distance, what would I think? If this was someone else's story, what advice would I give them? By stepping outside yourself, you create the space to think critically and intentionally about your choices. The power of perspective isn't about eliminating humor or joy. It's about making sure that laughter doesn't come at the cost of growth. It's about ensuring that what you find funny today doesn't become the weight you carry tomorrow. When you embrace this mindset, you stop treating life as a series of random moments and start living with purpose. You start building something extraordinary, one intentional choice at a time. And when you do that, life becomes more than just a series of fleeting jokes or distractions. It becomes a legacy. Because the truth is, nothing truly important is funny when you see it for what it is, a stepping stone to the life you were meant to live. Laughter has a way of disarming us, doesn't it? It's that quick shared moment of relief, that little escape from the heaviness of life. But beneath the surface of laughter often lies something far more complex. Humor can be a powerful connector, but it can also be a shield, a way to deflect, distract, and deny. When we laugh, it's not always because we find something genuinely funny. Sometimes it's because we're trying to hide something deeper, something we're not ready to face. Think about it. How many times have you laughed off an uncomfortable situation, even when it stung? How often do we use humor to downplay our insecurities, to shrug off our mistakes, or to make light of challenges we don't feel prepared to confront? This isn't just a quirk of human behavior, it's a coping mechanism. Laughter becomes the mask we wear to keep others and sometimes ourselves from seeing what's really going on. The truth is, laughter can be both a gift and a trap. When shared with others in moments of joy, it strengthens bonds and lightens burdens. But when it's used to cover pain, it becomes a barrier to growth. It's easy to dismiss something with a joke, to laugh and move on without giving it a second thought. But here's the danger. Every time we laugh to avoid discomfort, we're missing an opportunity to confront it, to understand it, and to grow from it. When laughter masks fear, it holds us back. We might laugh at our own dreams, calling them impossible or unrealistic as a way to avoid taking risks. We might joke about our shortcomings, turning them into punchlines instead of areas for improvement. In doing so, we reinforce the very limitations we want to break free from. What feels like lighthearted fun in the moment can create invisible chains, binding us to the very fears and doubts we're trying to escape. But why do we do it? Why is laughter such an easy go-to when things get tough? It's because vulnerability is hard. Facing our emotions, our failures, and our insecurities head-on is uncomfortable. It requires honesty, and honesty requires courage. It's far easier to laugh and move on than to sit with the weight of what's truly bothering us. Yet it's in those moments of discomfort that real transformation begins. To see laughter for what it is, a potential mask, we need to pause and reflect. The next time you find yourself laughing at something that feels a little too sharp, ask yourself, what am I really feeling here? What's behind the humor? If you're joking about your struggles, your dreams, or your relationships, could it be that you're avoiding a truth you don't want to face? Understanding this isn't about rejecting laughter. It's about using it intentionally. Laughter should be a bridge, not a wall. It should bring us closer to others and to ourselves, not push us further away from our truth. When we recognize the moments where humor is a mask, we open the door to deeper self-awareness and meaningful change. Laughter is a beautiful thing, but it's even more powerful when it's rooted in authenticity. When we laugh because we've overcome, because we've connected, because we've embraced who we are, it lifts us higher. But when we laugh to avoid, to deny, or to deflect, it keeps us stuck. The challenge is to know the difference. So let's not use laughter as a crutch to carry the weight of what we refuse to face. Let's use it as a celebration of our strength, our growth, and our courage to confront life head-on. Because when we do that, laughter becomes not just a release, but a reflection of the authentic, unshakable joy we carry within. We live in a culture that tells us to avoid discomfort at all costs. We're taught that discomfort equals failure, that it's something to run from. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, we're surrounded by messages urging us to seek pleasure, ease, and convenience. We buy products that promise to make life easier. We chase after instant gratification. And we aim to avoid anything that makes us feel uneasy. But what if I told you that discomfort is one of the most powerful forces in your life? What if the very thing we fear is the thing we need to embrace in order to grow, evolve, and become the person we're meant to be? Discomfort is not our enemy, it's our ally. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, and every moment of personal transformation comes with discomfort. It's a necessary companion on the road to greatness. The truth is, if you're not uncomfortable, you're probably not growing. Growth doesn't happen when we're sitting comfortably in our zone of familiarity. It happens when we're challenged, when we push past our limits, and when we dare to step into the unknown. Think about the most significant moments in your life. Chances are the times that shaped you the most were not the easy moments. They were the times when you faced uncertainty, when you were forced to rise above your fears, and when you had to make a decision that stretched you beyond what you thought was possible. Whether it was starting a new career, confronting a difficult truth about yourself, or pursuing a dream that seemed out of reach, it was the discomfort, the sense of being outside your comfort zone that triggered your growth. Yet we continue to run from discomfort. Why? Because it's hard. It feels unsafe. It challenges our sense of control and certainty. But here's the thing, the more you avoid discomfort, the more you rob yourself of opportunities to evolve. You stay stuck in the same patterns, the same mindset, the same limitations. You remain stagnant, watching others grow and evolve while you remain in your safe little bubble. Embracing discomfort is about shifting our mindset. It's about realizing that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong, but rather a sign that something is right. It means recognizing that the struggle, the uncertainty, and the challenges you're facing are all part of your journey. They're not roadblocks, they're stepping stones. Every time you face discomfort head on, you're strengthening resilience and expanding your capacity to handle even greater challenges in the future. But how do we embrace discomfort when it feels so overwhelming? The key is to reframe it. Instead of seeing discomfort as a threat, start viewing it as a signal that you're on the right path. When you feel that fear, that hesitation, that unease, don't run from it, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? By shifting your perspective, you can transform discomfort from something negative into something empowering. It's also important to understand that embracing discomfort doesn't mean throwing yourself into chaos. It means acknowledging that growth requires effort, that change doesn't come easily, and that every step outside your comfort zone is an investment in your future. It means being willing to sit with the discomfort, to breathe through it, and to trust that on the other side lies the version of yourself that you're becoming. When you start to embrace discomfort, something amazing happens. You become limitless. You stop being held back by fear. You stop avoiding the hard conversations, the challenging decisions, and the difficult past. Instead, you see each moment of discomfort as an opportunity to level up, to expand your horizons, and to step into your fullest potential. So the next time you feel that discomfort rising within you, don't run from it. Don't hide behind distractions or excuses. Step into it. Embrace it. Because on the other side of that discomfort lies the version of yourself that you've always becoming in. In a world where distractions are in endless supply, it's incredibly easy to prioritize entertainment over responsibility. With every swipe of a screen, every notification, every advertisement, we're bombarded with endless options to escape into the world of entertainment. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with entertainment, it has its place. It can bring joy, and sometimes it provides a much-needed break. It can quickly become a trap. It's a trap that keeps us distracted from our true purpose, from the work we need to do, and from the growth we could be experiencing. The reality is that entertainment, when overindulged, becomes a form of avoidance. We seek it to fill a void, to numb ourselves from the challenges we face, or simply to pass the time. But here's the catch. While we're being entertained, we're neglecting accountability, the very foundation of a meaningful, impactful life. Accountability is what pushes us to take ownership of our choices, our actions, and our future. It forces us to acknowledge that we are the ones responsible for shaping our destiny, not external circumstance or fleeting moments of pleasure. In the long run, accountability is the difference between living a life of fulfillment and living a life of regret. It's about taking control of your story, stepping up to the plate when it's your turn, and making decisions that align with your long-term vision. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it, staying committed to your goals despite the pull of easy distractions. Accountability doesn't let you off the hook. It challenges you to rise, to push past comfort, and to consistently make choices that move you forward. Entertainment, on the other hand, pulls us in the opposite direction. It offers an instant escape, but it's an escape that keeps us from confronting the reality of our lives. It lures us into a false sense of ease, tricking us into thinking we deserve the break, the relaxation, or the mindless pleasure. But at what cost? When we indulge in entertainment at the expense of responsibility, we rob ourselves of the growth that comes from discipline, focus, and hard work. The key to breaking free from this cycle is to recognize the value of accountability. It's easy to get caught up in the latest TV show or viral video, but the cost of this endless cycle is our own progress. The moment we decide to prioritize accountability, when we choose to confront our challenges, take responsibility for our actions, and commit to our long-term vision, is the moment we begin to live with intention. We stop living passively, reacting to whatever comes our way. Instead, we become the creators of our own future. The real challenge is not necessarily choosing between entertainment and accountability. It's about recognizing that both can coexist, but with a clear hierarchy. There is a time for relaxation and entertainment, but there must also be a time for deep work, for growth, and for building the life you want. The key is balance. Entertainment can be a tool for recharging, but it should never be the main focus of your life. When you hold yourself accountable, you begin to realize that your time is your most valuable asset. Every minute spent in mindless entertainment is a minute you're not using to shape your destiny. So what does accountability look like in practice? It looks like setting goals and sticking to them even when distractions call. It looks like taking responsibility for your choices, both the ones that lead you towards success and the ones that set you back. It's about saying no to the quick fix and yes to the long-term reward. It's about taking ownership of your story and choosing each day to live in alignment with the person you want to become. Ultimately, choosing accountability over entertainment isn't about rejecting fun or pleasure, it's about being intentional. It's about realizing that what you choose to focus on today will determine what your future looks like. And when you make accountability your priority, you empower yourself to create the life you've always dreamed of. Humor is one of the most powerful tools we have in communication. It connects us, it disarms us, and it allows us to bridge gaps that would otherwise feel too wide to cross. A well-timed joke can diffuse tension, make others feel at ease, and even offer a sense of relief in uncomfortable situations. But humor is a double-edged sword. While it can heal, it can also hurt. The line between humor and harm is often blurred, especially when we make jokes at the expense of others, or when we use humor to mask things that should be addressed head-on. Humor, when misused, has the potential to do far more damage than we realize, often leaving invisible scars in its wake. When humor crosses the line into harm, it can perpetuate negative stereotypes, reinforce damaging beliefs, or even make people feel less than unworthy or unimportant. Jokes that target someone's appearance, background, intelligence, or personal struggles might seem harmless in the moment, but their impact can be long-lasting. What we may think is just a funny quip can be the very thing that chips away at someone's confidence, their sense of belonging, or their mental and emotional well-being. And when we don't recognize the harm in what we say, we inadvertently participate in a cycle of negativity, judgment, and exclusion. The problem arises when we fail to understand that humor in its truest form should build up, not tear down. We get so caught up in the thrill of making others laugh that we forget about the deeper consequences of our words. It's easy to poke fun at things that seem trivial, but when we direct that humor at sensitive subjects or at the vulnerabilities of others, it can have a devastating impact. The truth is, we never know what someone is going through behind the scenes. What might seem like a harmless joke to us could hit someone at their most vulnerable point. The key to understanding the line between humor and harm is empathy. Humor becomes harmful when we forget to consider how our words might land on someone else. It's important to ask ourselves, is this joke really necessary? Am I making fun of something that someone else might be struggling with? Am I being mindful of how my words affect others, or am I just looking for a laugh at any cost? When we fail to empathize, we risk causing harm, often without even realizing it. But this doesn't mean we need to become humorless or censor ourselves entirely. Humor, when used with awareness, can be a force for good. It can bring attention to important issues, challenge assumptions, and open up conversations about uncomfortable truths. The difference lies in intention. If our humor is designed to uplift, to challenge, and to promote understanding, then it has the power to connect people in ways that words alone cannot. But if it's used to belittle, to divide, or to manipulate, then it becomes a weapon rather than a tool. The line between humor and harm is ultimately about respect. It's about recognizing that words matter and that laughter shouldn't come at the expense of someone else's dignity. It's about understanding that humor should never be a tool to mask cruelty, insecurities, or prejudice. When we use humor responsibly, we not only enrich the lives of those around us, but we also elevate ourselves. We become better communicators, better leaders, and better human beings. The next time you're about to crack a joke, pause for a moment. Think about its impact. Ask yourself whether it's truly worth saying or whether it might hurt more than help. Humor can be a gift, but only when used with kindness, mindfulness, and respect for others. When we get this right, humor becomes an instrument of connection and understanding, and it brings out the best in us all. In a world where laughter and entertainment are constantly within reach, it's easy to treat life as a series of passing moments filled with quick fixes, distractions, and temporary pleasures. But what if I told you that the moments you dismiss as nothing funny hold the key to some of the most formative opportunities you'll ever experience? What if those seemingly insignificant, awkward, or uncomfortable moments are exactly what you need to propel yourself into a future filled with purpose, success, and fulfillment? Nothing funny often refers to those instances where we're faced with something serious, a situation we'd rather laugh off or avoid altogether. It's in these moments that we have a choice. We can either laugh it off, as we typically do, or we can choose to see the deeper meaning, the hidden lesson, and tap potential. When you recognize that these nothing funny moments are actually invitations to grow, you begin to approach life differently. You start to understand that everything, no matter how trivial it seems, has the potential to spark change and move you forward. The first step in turning these moments into catalysts for growth is shifting your perspective. It's easy to dismiss discomfort or challenges as not funny because they push us out of our comfort zones. But discomfort is often the birthplace of growth, whether it's an awkward conversation, an opportunity that feels too big for you, or a failure that makes you want to hide. It's in those moments that you're being given the chance to evolve. The key is to stop seeing these moments as obstacles and start seeing them as the catalyst they are. The discomfort, the uncertainty, and even the failure you experience now could be the very things that lead you to your breakthrough. Secondly, when you turn nothing funny into a catalyst, you acknowledge the power of accountability. In those moments where you'd rather laugh things off, you make a choice to take responsibility for your actions, thoughts, and feelings. Rather than ignoring the challenges you face, you confront them with courage. Instead of minimizing your problems with humor, you tackle them head-on with the understanding that overcoming them will make you stronger and more capable. Taking ownership of the nothing funny moments also means being honest with yourself. It's easy to hide behind humor and pretend everything is fine when deep down you know there's something more to be addressed. These moments offer you the opportunity to be real, to dig deeper, and to understand yourself better. It's only by confronting the uncomfortable that you can truly understand what drives you, what holds you back, and what needs to change for you to move forward. When you start turning these nothing funny moments into catalysts for change, something incredible happens. You become more resilient. Every time you face an uncomfortable truth or an awkward situation and use it to grow, you become more equipped to handle life's challenges. You build the mental and emotional muscle needed to persevere. And you begin to see that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. Life no longer feels like a series of random, meaningless events. Instead, it becomes a fact filled with lessons, each one leading you closer to the person you were meant to become. Ultimately, turning nothing funny into a catalyst is about shifting your mindset. It's about realizing that no experience, no matter how unpleasant or uncomfortable, is without value. Every moment holds the potential for transformation, but only if you choose to see it. Life will always present you with challenges, awkward moments, and situations that feel uncomfortable. But it's how you respond to them that determines whether they will keep you stuck or propel you forward. When you choose to embrace them as opportunities for growth, you unlock a power within yourself that allows you to take control of your future and create the life you truly desire. So, the next time you see a nothing funny moment, pause and reflect. Rather than laughing it off or ignoring it, ask yourself, how can I use this to grow? What lesson can I learn here? In doing so, you'll turn these moments from obstacles into stepping stones, each one bringing you closer to the extraordinary life you were always capable of living.